Welcome, history enthusiasts, to the tumultuous times of the 16th century, dominated by the reign of King Henry VIII. This was an era of power and passion, where the whims of the king shaped the destiny of a nation. England was a chessboard, and at the helm was the formidable Henry VIII, a king known for his charm, his intellect, and his infamous marital history. The political climate was as volatile as a summer storm, with alliances shifting like sand beneath the tide. The Catholic Church held significant influence over the people of England, its doctrines woven seamlessly into the fabric of everyday life. Yet beneath the surface of this seemingly harmonious relationship, tension simmered. As the king's personal desires began to clash with the rigid doctrines of the Church, it set the stage for a conflict that would forever change the course of history. No one at the time could foresee the storm that was brewing between the king and the church. Our tale begins with a marriage, a union that was expected to secure the future of England. In the year 1509, Henry VIII, the charismatic and athletic young king, married the Spanish princess, Catherine of Aragon. This was not just a marriage of two souls, but a strategic alliance between two powerful nations. Catherine was a woman of intellect and grace, renowned for her beauty and piety. Henry, on the other hand, was a king with a thirst for knowledge, excitement, and most importantly, a male heir. Their union seemed a match made in heaven, and for a time they were indeed blissfully happy. However, beneath this facade of happiness, there was a pressing issue: the need for a male heir. The survival of the Tudor dynasty hinged on it, and the pressure was immense. Each pregnancy was a beacon of hope, but time and again they were met with disappointment. Catherine endured multiple miscarriages, and of her 6 children, only one survived past infancy, a girl named Mary. As the years passed, the lack of a male heir became a looming threat. The court was rife with whispers, and the king's anxiety grew. In a society where the birth of a son was seen as a divine blessing and a validation of kingship, Henry and Catherine's failure to produce a male heir was perceived as a sign of divine displeasure. Despite Catherine's devotion to her husband and her tireless attempts to provide him with a son, she was unable to fulfill this crucial role. The king's frustration was mounting, and he started to question the validity of their marriage. He cited a biblical passage that a man who marries his brother's widow, as he did, would remain childless. Despite their efforts, the royal couple was unable to secure a male heir, setting the stage for a monumental conflict. Henry VIII, desperate for a male heir, sought a drastic solution: annulling his marriage to Catherine. It was no secret that Henry VIII held a deep desire for a son, someone to continue his bloodline and secure the kingdom's future. A daughter, he believed, wouldn't hold the strength and authority required to rule effectively. Catherine of Aragon, despite her dedication and loyalty, had failed to produce a male heir. She had given birth to 6 children, but tragically only one survived infancy, a daughter, Mary. Henry's desperation grew with each passing year, and his eyes started to wander. Enter Anne Boleyn. Anne was young, vivacious, and most importantly, fertile. Henry was smitten, and his desire for a male heir became intertwined with his growing attraction to Anne. He saw in her the possibility of a fresh start, a new marriage that could produce the son he so desperately desired. To make this dream a reality, Henry sought an annulment from the Pope. An annulment, unlike a divorce, would declare the marriage to Catherine null and void, as if it had never occurred. This would free him to marry Anne without the stigma of divorce. But annulments were not given lightly. Henry argued that his marriage to Catherine was cursed because she had previously been married to his brother. He cited a passage from Leviticus in the Bible, which states that if a man marries his brother's wife, they will remain childless. However, this was a bold and somewhat desperate interpretation, as Catherine had been married to Henry's elder brother, Arthur, for only a brief period before his untimely death, and the marriage was likely never consummated. The Pope, however, was not easily swayed. He was under the influence of Catherine's nephew, Emperor Charles V, who was one of the most powerful men in Europe. Charles was fiercely protective of his aunt and did not want to see her cast aside. But the Pope, under the influence of Catherine's nephew, Emperor Charles V, refused to grant the annulment. Frustrated and desperate, Henry VIII took a step that would change England forever. Finding no solace in the Catholic Church's refusal to annul his marriage, Henry VIII decided to take matters into his own hands. He wasn't just a king battling for a divorce. He was a king fighting for an heir for the future of his kingdom. In defiance of the Pope, Henry made the audacious move of establishing his own church. The year was 1534, and with the Act of Supremacy, the Church of England was born, with none other than Henry himself as its head. It was a bold move, one that shook the very foundations of the religious world. Henry's break with the Pope was more than a personal vendetta. It was a political maneuver of unmatched audacity. He not only rejected the Pope's authority, but also reclaimed religious control over his kingdom. It was a power play that would redefine the monarchy and set a precedent for future rulers. The repercussions of this decision were far-reaching. On the one hand, it led to the dissolution of monasteries and the redistribution of wealth. On the other hand, it marked the beginning of religious tension that would plague England for years. Henry's defiance of the Pope also sent shockwaves through the Catholic Church. For centuries, the Church had been the ultimate authority on religious matters, but Henry's break signalled a shift in power. It was a clear message that the Church's authority was not absolute, that a king could challenge it and win. The establishment of the Church of England was a significant turning point in religious history. It marked the beginning of Protestantism in England and laid the groundwork for the religious diversity we see today. But perhaps most importantly, it was a testament to Henry's will. He was determined to secure his lineage, even if it meant defying the most powerful institution of his time. In one swift move, Henry VIII had not only secured his divorce, but also forever altered the religious landscape of England. The implications of Henry's actions were far-reaching and deeply impactful. The echoes of his decisions resound through the centuries, shaping the landscape of religion and politics in England and beyond. Henry's break with the Pope didn't just change his marital status, it altered the course of an entire nation. Following the split, he married Anne Boleyn, a woman who would become as controversial and iconic as the king himself. Their marriage, though fraught with its own drama and tragedy, resulted in the birth of the future Queen Elizabeth I, a monarch who would later be known as one of the greatest rulers in English history. Elizabeth's reign, much like her father's, was marked by religious tension. Yet she skillfully navigated these turbulent waters, establishing a Protestant nation that maintained a degree of religious toleration. Her leadership solidified the Church of England's position and helped to stave off the religious wars that plagued much of Europe at the time. The political implications of Henry's choice were no less significant. By taking control of the Church in England, he set a precedent for monarchs to wield immense power. This move towards absolute monarchy would shape English politics for centuries to come, leading to conflicts and power struggles that would define much of England's history. In the grand scheme of things, Henry's decision to break with the Pope was about more than just his desire for a male heir. It was a bold assertion of royal authority, a challenge to the established order, and a declaration of independence from the perceived control of the Catholic Church. This monumental shift in religious and political power dynamics had a profound impact on England and the world. It set the stage for upheavals, revolutions, and reforms that would shape the course of history and influence the lives of countless individuals. Thus, a king's quest for an heir led to a religious revolution, the effects of which still echo through the corridors of history. King Henry VIII, a figure of controversy and change, left an indelible mark on England and the world. His decision to sever ties with the Pope, a move born of personal desires, forever altered the religious landscape of his kingdom. This was not merely a man's quest for a male heir, but a pivotal moment that would shape centuries to come. His defiance of the Pope, a bold and unprecedented act, sparked the creation of the Church of England. With this, he not only changed the course of his own reign, but also the trajectory of an entire nation. It's a testament to the immense power that individuals can wield, their actions rippling through time and space. Henry VIII's story is a potent reminder that history is not just a series of events, but a tapestry woven by the actions, desires, and decisions of individuals. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history. Until next time, keep exploring the fascinating stories of our past. If you've enjoyed delving into the complex and captivating era of Henry VIII with us, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating historical content. Each like, share and subscription helps us continue to unravel the intricate threads of history, taking you on a journey through time. Remember, history is not just a series of events, but a rich narrative shaped by complex characters and their choices, much like our enigmatic Henry VIII. So if you're intrigued by these stories and want to learn more about the figures that have shaped our world, join us in our next exploration. Who knows, you might just stumble upon a piece of history that resonates with you. Until then, keep your curiosity alive and continue exploring the fascinating stories of our past.